Hello, my name is Marc Jeffrey, and you are listening to episode 17 of the Marc Jeffrey Podcast Show, brought to you by MPC Solutions. Yo, what is up, podcasters? You are indeed listening to episode 17 of the Marc Jeffrey Podcast Show, live from the studio on the hill, Southwest UK calling. The date is the 14th of June, 2017, and have I got one hell of a show lined up for you this week. Big shout out to my main man, Brian Crawford, over at riversedgepgh.com for hooking me up with this week's unsigned artist at very, very, very short notice. River's Edge is an awesome online internet radio station. Listen to River's Edge for local music over in Pittsburgh 24/7 at riversedgepgh.com. Now, yesterday I recorded a top-notch interview that I know you guys are gonna love. We have Mike Wellsbury-Nye in the studio talking beards. Yes, I said beards. You guys got to stay tuned for that one. Don't go anywhere. First, we are going to rock out to the amazing sound of The Roof. Formed in 2016, The Roof is a four-piece band with a genre base described as bastard rock and roll. With a broad range in influences from classic Dylan to Cage the Elephant, you can find them at www.facebook.com/The Roof 2017 band. And I will also put all of tonight's links up on my show description notes. But first, let's kick off with this week's awesome podcast by playing The Roof, Me and Marie.
Shining from the light, oh, it's breaking. It's such a lovely sight. And I know I did a little wrong last night. Good God, love we share, as wrong as it was right. As wrong as it was right. As wrong as it was right. Caught her in a hurry, dressed in calico. We stumbled into a cafe, we met her over on the sun. A wide-eyed, sun-dried, under a Spanish moon. I light up a candle, yeah, a table set for two. A table set for two. A table set for two. Roses and crickets and dews on the grass. The way she cuts so deep, man, sharp as shattered glass. My mind reads on, put the ashes in his nerve. Hold me from the cold clay, keep my footsteps firm. Keep my footsteps firm. Keep my footsteps firm. Crimson, walking on a wire. Please don't forgive me, I can moonlight this fire. Roll deep in white sheets with a lovely sun and slow. Oh, this desire is all I'll ever know. It's all I'll ever know. It's all I'll ever know. Open up the window, fresh like the bride. She's a Madonna, yeah, my love is so divine. Side eyes, red wine, she's making awful play. Yeah, when no one else is around, my love is always there. My love is always there. My love is always there.
So how's it going, Mike?
Yeah, good. Thanks for asking me along.
Well, you're very, very welcome anytime. I mean, I've known you for a few years now, and you've never been to our house, have you?
No, you moved here years ago, didn't you? It's the first time I've ever actually turned up.
What did you have for breakfast this morning, mate?
What did I have for breakfast? Nothing, because I was running late. So,
Good. What did you have for lunch then?
I had a pasty for lunch because,
Pasty? Which
again,
one?
I was running too late to. It was one from Barnacuts in Liskeard.
One of my favourites. We got a caravan down St Mirren, and they've got a Barnacuts down there now. And what do you have for tea? Do you call it tea, or do you call it evening meal? What do you call it?
Dinner or tea, and. Yeah, yesterday, I should put it in context because it sounds particularly shit. We had cheesy beans on toast for tea, but yesterday we cooked up this really, really lovely Thai green curry, and I spent quite a bit of time preparing it, and it was all lovely. It went really, really well, and it was a good sort of, everything made from scratch. And while we were eating it, Claire said, "You know what I fancy tomorrow?" Coincidentally, when it was her turn to make tea, she was like, "Oh, I really fancy cheesy beans on toast." So
Cheesy peas.
Cheesy beans
Cheesy
on toast.
beans.
Yeah. I was like, so my dinner took, like an hour to cook, and hers took 5 minutes, but there we go.
Well, the reason why I ask, mate, is because I'm on a diet. I'm on this new fasting diet. I don't know if you've heard of it. It's a 5-2 fasting diet. And today is my fasting day. So I got up this morning and I had my only coffee that I'm allowed of the day because I'm a bit of a coffee connoisseur. I love me coffee. And then for lunch, I had a boiled egg for breakfast, which was nice. And then for lunch, I had, what did I have for lunch? I had an apple and a banana. And for tea, I've had like a pork chop with a couple of pipits of like vegetables. So I'm bloody starving, mate.
Well, it's not exactly a fast, is it? It's still eating, but just eating less.
You are still eating. But what it is apparently you can eat and do what you want all week, but 2 days of the week you've got to eat no more than 600 calories. I agree with what you're saying. Fasting to me means you don't eat anything, but it's a new fasting diet. And I lost 4 pounds last week.
It's not bad, is it?
So, I need to do something because belly's coming getting me. And the thing is I've just started, as from this Friday, right, check this out, I'm starting up Taekwondo.
Yeah, I saw something on your Facebook that you said, I think I've just volunteered myself for boxing.
Well, yeah, it was supposed to be boxing.
Right.
I've got a friend of mine. He's about 50-year-old, and he come to the door the other day, and he was going on about how he's taken up boxing, and he's done 3 fights, and he's won 2 and lost 1. And I'm like, mate, you're 50. He goes, yeah, but I bloody love it. It's great. So he says, come along, you'll be great at it. And I'm like, yeah, and I'd sort of like volunteered myself. But because Zach's taken up Taekwondo and he's 6, and I went and watched that, and I got chatting to the sensei or whatever they call him. He's called Sam. He's just called Sam to me. But I got chatting to him and said that I always wanted to do a martial art, and I've gradually been dragged in. So Friday's the first day.
So you took up Taekwondo because you figured you've still got half a chance of beating Zach.
That's it. I mean, like I say, Zach's 6, Ethan's 3. Next year he'll be starting, and I just thought both of these are going to kick my ass, and I sort of need some self-defense. So so you're sat there drinking a cup of coffee, and I'm here with a glass of water. Last week I had Liam on the show, and he had a nice glass of port, and I had a cup of coffee. I just feel as if I'm doing the wrong thing here. But
well, I didn't get offered a glass of port.
You can have a glass of port if you want. It's just you drove over, but you're more than welcome to.
No, the coffee's good.
So, Mike, I only know you as Beard, really. I like to say we've known you for about 8 years now through my girlfriend Nikki. How did you get to know my missus? Or should I not ask?
No, yeah, that's probably best left in the past. No, we met through going to Argyle. Nikki is
Bring on me.
Yeah, she's unfortunate, like me, in being an Argyle fan. So yeah, we sat through, or stood through when we first met, many a terrible match. And if you go to Argyle, you invariably end up speaking to the people around you because it's better than watching the football.
For you at home that don't know what Argyle is, because we've got a lot of listeners in Japan and America. In England, it's football. In America, it's soccer. I don't know what it would be called in Japan. But Plymouth Argyle are our local football team. I don't support them because I'm a Brentford fan. We'll talk a little bit more about that later on. The griefs and the bullying that I got for being a Brentford fan when Beard and Colin found out that I supported Brentford. But I'm sort of like having the last laugh at the moment, I think, aren't I?
Yeah, well, for me, what I enjoyed was the way that you flip-flop between being a Brentford and a Liverpool fan, depending on who's winning.
No, I don't like Liverpool anymore. Well, the thing is I used to support Liverpool because I always you got to support a Premiership team. That's the way I looked at it when I was. And as I grew up, I just began to hate the Premiership, all the money involved and all the bickering and all that lot. So you'll never hear me talking about Liverpool anymore.
I'm kind of getting that way about Argo, I've got to be honest. About even at that level of football, it's just... Maybe it's just as I'm getting older, but it's just changed. I don't have that connection anymore. I still like watching football, but I don't have the connection to the club anymore. So, I'm thinking about maybe going to watch some Tavistock games next season and see how that works.
I've seen Leeds United play at Tavistock.
Yeah, it's a lovely little ground.
Yeah.
Lovely little ground.
Yeah. So, mate, you have to forgive me. What actually is your surname? Because I only know you as Beard. What is your surname?
Yeah, my full name is Mike Wellsbury-Nye. Wellsbury was my wife's maiden name. We're both only children. And I just said to her, it'd be a shame for Wellsbury to disappear altogether, so we'll double barrel it. And she said, no, that sounds ridiculous. And the more she said it to herself, the more she thought, oh, no, actually, I quite like that. So,
because I know that's a name that's on Facebook, but there's a lot of people that put these crazy, stupid names on Facebook, don't they? And I didn't know if it was a name that you put on as a make-believe name or whatnot. So I thought I'd ask.
No. Claire was Claire Wellsbury. I was Mike Nye, and now we're the Wellsbury-Nyes.
I've got a terrible memory, mate. So Facebook, what an amazing place it is. And I just want to say, I want to thank Mike for correcting me because I'm not the brightest person in the world. And I do sometimes have some odd beliefs that I rant and rave on Facebook. And Mike's good for grounding me, putting me in the right direction, wouldn't you say?
Not always. I mean, I have my own insane beliefs, but it's just, I think I'm a big one. I've never had a problem with people telling me I'm wrong if they can back up what they say, and I can go away and have a look at and go, oh yeah, okay, maybe so. And I've always kind of been the same. If somebody says something that I know is like just factually wrong, because you can go and pull up the evidence quite quickly, and they've just been told something by somebody else that isn't quite right. I'm always, and I think, if you can't correct your mates, who can you correct?
Well, that's the thing. I mean, I've had some beliefs and whatnot, and I've said my bit, and then people like yourself have said, no, Mark, you're wrong. And I've listened to them, and then I'm saying to myself, yeah, actually, I am wrong. And like you say, you go and do your own research, and like you say, then you see that you're wrong, and you correct yourself. So Facebook is quite good, as long as you've got your friends there to correct you. What do you think about the election last week, then?
I was surprised. I mean, all the way through the run-up, I thought, well, there was a very obvious reason why the election got called, and that was for Theresa May to try and consolidate power. She thought that Labour were weak, and she looked at the polls and she thought, well, I'm going to give them a shoeing and have a majority of 60 or 70, and then I can pretty much do what I like for the next 5 years.
Didn't quite work, did it?
No. and thankfully so, because, I mean, I think the country definitely needs effective opposition, but the flip side of that is that they're now going to go into coalition with a party that, kind of make the Tories look like big, cuddly, liberal, sort of woolly types. The DUP are proper scary.
Now, DUP, who are they? What are their policies? I mean, like you say, I've never even bloody heard of them.
Well, a friend of mine said to me on the weekend when we were discussing what the DUP policies are, and he said, it's basically the Old Testament with added religious intolerance.
I mean, these are the sort of guys that would fit in well with Trump, to be fair, isn't it?
They are, and they're. I hear rumours that they're going to insist that Farage is included in the Brexit talks, and even Trump was sensible enough not to appoint Nigel Farage.
What do you think about Trumpy then? Is he one of your favourites or not?
Yeah, well,
he's a funny chap, isn't he?
Yeah, he livens the day up. Put it that way. I wouldn't like to say he was one of my favourites, in that he's pretty much the opposite of that.
He's one of those people, though, isn't he? I mean, he's gone from having his own television show. He's had television shows, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's gone. He's a big businessman that's gone bankrupt more times than I've gone on a diet, and now he's running one of the biggest, most powerful nations in the world.
Pretty much the most powerful man in the world. Yeah. I mean, if you said that 2 years ago. You said that 2 years ago, I think everyone would have just laughed you out of the room.
Hell yeah. Anyway, mate, music. What sort of music are you into? You're in a bit of a different sort of music to me. Tell the world.
Yeah, well, no, I mean, I like a bit of everything. But on the way over here, I had on a bit of hardcore punk, a bit of thrash metal, bit of sort of sludgy stoner doom, bit of old school 90s hip hop. I love everything. I
love 90s hip hop. I grew up in the 90s loving hip hop.
I never thought that you would be into the same music as me, because everything I liked a lot of what you listened to, and I think you probably liked some of what I listened to, but it was more on a kind of that's cool, but I'm not going to listen to it kind of a way. And then we started talking about Nine. Can you remember? You started talking about Nine. He was just not even a particularly famous 90s MC, but
nobody has ever heard of Nine. Everybody that I speak to, you cannot buy their albums anywhere. Nope. I mean, I went on Amazon the other day and I managed to find one of their albums, and it was like £75 for a second-hand CD.
Yeah. We were music magpieing everything, because we're in a tiny little miner's cottage, so we decided to get rid of all of our CDs, just burn it all and get rid of it. Nine's 9 Lives was one of the ones that we put aside, because Claire was like, well, Music Magpie want to pay me like £3 for that, so that's probably worth a lot of money.
I've got something for you to check out, mate. Was you ever into House of Pain?
Sorry, just taking a slurp of my
cuppa.
Go for it. Yeah, no, I was a big House of Pain fan, and I've become quite a big fan of Everlast's solo stuff, the kind of bluesy stuff that he does.
Have you checked out his new stuff?
I have not heard his latest stuff, no.
War Porn, it's called.
War Porn, okay.
Yeah. And he's collaborated a bit with Be Real from Cypress Hill, and they're all, he's not talking so much like that anymore. You know, he's like, he's a bit more like, but Be Real. And, Everlast he's sounding a little bit different. But I tell you what, mate, War Porn, check it out. That is taking you right back to original hip hop, and it sounds fantastic.
Well, we'll have a listen to that then, yeah.
Yeah. So that's music. I just want to talk to you briefly about podcasts. Are you a podcasting sort of guy?
I very briefly toyed with starting my own podcast, and then
starting. I was talking about, do you listen to podcasts?
Well, no, but a few years ago, before we moved, I briefly toyed with it, and then I kind of thought, well, what am I going to do? Am I just going to talk about whatever? That just sounds odd. And then you went and did it. And I realised that it does kind of work. Just getting people in and chatting about stuff.
Shit.
Yeah, and I guess I kind of bottled that. I thought, I can't just talk about stuff for half an hour.
Of course you can, mate. Of course you can. There's lots of stuff to talk about.
Yep. Yeah. So no, fair play. But no, I'm not. There's quite a few sort of Radio 4 stuff that I download the podcast to, because I miss the shows and things. But there's not a lot of dedicated podcasters that I listen to, certainly.
No, well, I'm addicted to certain podcasts now. I'm not going to bore the people at home. Joe Rogan is my favourite at the moment. I just love listening to. I listen to that on my post round when I'm walking around, and he's forever swearing all the time. And I get some. I had to turn it off today because there's a woman giving me some severe looks, and I just thought, knocking at the door, and it's like, you know what I mean? It's just like, no, I better turn this off now. But that's what they had Everlast on there the other day, and he was going about this war porn. And honestly, mate, fantastic. You're going to have to check that out. Clothes. I want to talk to you a little bit about clothes, because I can honestly say you're dressed down a little bit to see me tonight, but you are the best dressed man I know.
The best dressed man
when you go out when you go out, you look the bomb.
Well, yeah. I mean, I make an effort, but
I want to be like you.
In all fairness, the reason that I started to make an effort was probably about 10 years ago now. I had to buy a new suit because I was going to a wedding. I was one of those people that had one suit for weddings, funerals, baptisms, court appearances, that kind of thing. And I bought this new suit, and I put it on, and I was bigger then than I was now. I've lost a bit of weight since then, but I put it on, and I looked in the mirror and I thought, I've just lost 1.5 stone without having to do any of that unpleasant running around.
For wearing the right fitting.
Yeah.
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 Because everybody thinks, don't they, like, you're fat, you should buy something baggy to hide the bulginess, but it's not like that at all, is it?
No. If if you wear something baggy, then everybody just assumes you are the size of your clothes. Unless you're visibly thin, you really can't get away with wearing baggy stuff, because if you've got carrying a little bit of weight around your face, people will just think, well, he's filling that whole t-shirt then, isn't he? If you're a little skinny whippet with an obviously huge t-shirt on, you can get away with that. But yeah, so I just kind of thought, I'm getting a little bit older. I still knock around in jeans and skate shoes and
DCs.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, and then every so often, some of my friends are amazed because it'll be a Saturday, and I'll turn up to Argyle in proper formal trousers, shirt, waistcoat, tie, cravat,
Brilliant.
And just and people will be like, "Are you going somewhere afterwards?" And I'll just be like, "No, it's just what I wanted to wear today."
Is there anybody out there that inspires you with fashion, or are you just beard?
No, I subscribe to a magazine called The Chap, which is very, very good at sort of classic style tips, because I'm not young or slim enough to get away with doing that whole kind of ultra slim fitting suits with a pair of trainers and doing that. I've got to go with the kind of classic, tried and tested stuff that people have been wearing for 100 odd years because it works. But
have you got a pair of skinny jeans?
I do have a pair of skinny jeans, actually. They're not like skinny, but they are skinnier than I've ever bought.
Snap.
Yeah.
And everybody, no matter what size you are, everybody should get a pair of skinny jeans, because I'll tell you for why, they are the most comfortablest pair of jeans in the world.
Yeah, I had the initial, because I've always worn fairly baggy jeans. I had an initial moment where I pulled them on and I sort of pulled a face because and I said to Claire, it's touching me. But once they're on, they are just incredibly comfortable.
They never fall down. They stay where they're supposed to stay. Yeah, I bought a pair of pretty green skinny jeans about, a year ago, and they are my favourite jeans. They just stay there. I don't give a toss what I look like. They stay there, and they're really, really comfortable. So yeah, jeans, skinny jeans, guys, get out there and buy them. Now, ever since I've known you, you have rocked a beard.
Yep.
Hence the name beard.
Hence the name beard.
Yeah. Exactly. How long have you had a beard for?
Well, I grew a beard in. I finally took the jump and make to growing a beard in the gap between my GCSEs and coming back for start my A levels.
So how old was you then?
I would have been 17 very late in 17 when I grew it, and then I came back for my A levels and turned 18 pretty much at the start of term.
And when did you start developing? When could you have grown a beard?
I could have probably grown one at about 15. I was shaving in late into 15, certainly early 16. And there was the summer holiday between my final 2 years of GCSEs. I sort of grew a bit of a beard and then shaved it off again. But yeah, it wouldn't have been a good beard, but I could have grown a beard.
12.
I
started shaving when I was 12. Honestly, I could have had a beard in like my second year in school.
We've become very good friends with a barber down in Redruth, Liam Hamilton, and he was telling us the other week about a 15-year-old that came in for a beard trim. His beard was so big he had to get it trimmed back.
That's quite scary, isn't it?
Yeah, that's quite. I mean, he's got to have a pretty understanding school, because my school, you had to be clean shaven. I got it in the ear for turning up at the start of the sixth form with a beard. Was
the policies in your school then for having a beard? There was never, you must come to school clean shaven. We never had nothing like that in our school, but then that was Callington School, say no more.
No, there was. I think I'm pretty sure you had to be clean shaven, because if I left it go for like a week because I was being lazy, then I would get somebody sort of tap me on the shoulder and say, right, I don't want to see that next week.
No way. So anyway, I quite like a beard. I have a beard because through laziness more than anything, because I get up early in the mornings, I just can't be asked to shave. And I'm not too badly, I've got a little bit of about a day's worth of stubble here at the minute. But I do quite like having a beard for when I go to festivals. I suppose it looks the part, if you know what I mean. But the problem is now is I've hit 40. And since I've hit 40, it was almost like overnight the grey monster come out and turned my beard into grey. And if I have any like stubble now, it just looks like I've got a grey shadow.
Yeah. Now,
how come yours is so dark? Well, I mean, how old are you?
Now I'm 40 in September, and you'll see plenty of white down the bottom there.
But it's looking pretty fine, mate.
And but the white seemed to come through sort of 4 or 5 years ago, and then never really developed other than the odd white strand. I get really weird white hairs in my mustache that just kind of they're always high on the upper lip, and they just stick out at a weird angle and look odd.
I mean, I've even got grey chest hair now.
Yeah, no, I haven't started to get grey chest hair or grey pubes. So
no, I'm all right down there, but it's like I've just decided. I just look down now and I'm like, oh my god, I've got like grey chest hair, and like hair. What is it about hair? It's sprouting everywhere, out of my ears, my nose. I mean, I've got like probably get a wig out of my shoulders at the moment. It's just ridiculous. I mean, what is it with hair?
Yeah, you do.
As soon as you hit like 36 or so, it just starts coming everywhere.
Yeah. I had to buy a nose and ear hair trimmer a few years ago because I was just like, right, this is getting out of hand now.
I mean, I was driving to work the other day and I was just like looking in the mirror and I could see this straggler from my nose. So I was just like, well, hell yeah, I'm going to pull this one out. And then there's 2, 3, 4. And before I've known it, I'm like crying going to work and there's nasal hair everywhere in the car. So men's grooming though, men's grooming at the moment is massive, isn't it? It's a big industry to be in.
Yeah, I mean, there's a massive explosion, not just in sort of beard and facial hair grooming, but there seems to be a big explosion in sort of small pomade companies and stuff making a big comeback. People making like small runs of hair pomade and things like that. So it's interesting.
Hair what?
Hair pomade. I mean,
what the hell is that?
I mean, I don't really know about the product. As you can see, my hair started falling out on the top of my head when I was 18. So I've never really had too many hairstyles. But yeah, hair pomade like the old rockabilly guys used to wear. And that's become a bit of a thing in the last few years because it's there's a bit of chemistry involved and stuff, and people are sort of looking at the big products on the market and going, they're rubbish, I could do better myself, and going out and doing better themselves.
Have you checked out my barbers yet over in Callington? I was telling you about Lucky 13.
Very impressed. Lovely guys, really nice little shop. Got a really, really nice beard trim off them. Immediately recommended that they go on the Guardians of the Beard map. And yeah, was really impressed with them. And nice guys, and they took some flyers from us, and hopefully we'll see some of them at some beardy events.
We'll talk a little bit about that very, very soon, about you and your beards and stuff and your events. But no, he's actually got a sponsorship now by a wax company or something like that. They actually come into the show. I don't think he makes vast amounts of money from selling their product.
Kev at Lawless Beardsman.
Is that right?
I believe so because they were talking about we've just sort of started this deal with Lawless Beardsman, and I said, oh yeah, that's Kev, isn't it? He gets his hair cut at my barber's in Plymouth, and I met him at another beardy event. Nice bloke. I've tried a couple of his products, really nice, but the market's just, there's a lot on the market at the moment, and I made a conscious decision a few years ago that I'm just going to stick with 2 brands that I really, really like. And so, but no, he does. He's a nice guy, makes nice stuff, and the guys at the barbershop seem very impressed with it. So,
my cousin Sean, who you've met, he makes his own beard wax.
Yeah, that's impressive stuff. But then again, he's got a lot of mustache to try and tame, hasn't he?
I'm going to tell you a little story quickly. We went down to Polesaf because I used to have a caravan down Polesaf, and near where our campsite is, they've got Portreath Bee Centre, I think it's called. And he's like, can we stop in here a minute? I've got to go and get some wax. I'm like, what for, Sean? What for me beard? I'm like, all right, okay. So he goes in this shop, And the bloke's outside and he's sorting out all his hives. He's got all these hives lined up and he's there in his suit, you know, sorting all the bees out. Sean gets out the car, walks right through this bloke. There's bees everywhere, flying everywhere. And one bee stung him, and it's in his beard, and it stung him on his top lip. And he's there going, ah, ah, ah. And that afternoon, his top lip swelled. It was like Jar Jar Binks. He had this massive, huge top lip. I just had to tell you that because it was quite funny. But yeah, he grows. He, like I say, he does his own wax. He gets bee wax and he gets scent and all that sort of stuff and mixes it all in and has a little tub. And he's been doing it for years. He's styling his moustache and that. And yours is looking pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean, I started 10 years ago. 10 years ago. My 30th, Claire got me tickets to the World Beard and Moustache Championships in Brighton. We had an absolute belting day, got very, very drunk. And at the end of the day, I said to Claire, I think I'm going to grow a handlebar moustache. And I kind of expected her to say no. But she sort of looked at me for a moment and then nodded and said, yeah, I think you should give it a go.
What does your missus think of your beard?
She's only known me with facial hair, although I had a much smaller beard when we met. Yeah. Much smaller beard. But yeah, the more beard I've grown, I think the happier she is. The more I cover up my face, I think the happier she is.
Are you going to go kick ass and have like a massive great big one? Are you going to grow it really, really big?
No. I've said to people, I mean, I don't know whether I could grow a really big beard because everybody, your hair follicles are basically a finite length. They grow for a certain number of years and then they fall out. And the length that it grows in those years are the longest you're ever going to get it, really. I could get it quite a bit bigger than this, but I'm simultaneously too lazy to shave and too lazy to have a big beard.
We had Liam in, my co-presenter when I worked at NCB Radio. I've known Liam for about 4 or 5 years. And we was talking about you coming on the show and all about beards and that. And I said to him, has he ever grown a beard? And we got chatting briefly about beards. I said to him, what does he think of beards? And he said that he believes that the trend is slowly slowing down. People are beginning to shave again, and the hipster image is slowly being hated. Do you believe that people with beards, it is a hipster image, or does it insult you?
No, I'm not insulted by that at all. I don't think I'm a hipster, but there's a lot of stuff that are linked to that whole kind of hipster scene that I like craft beer, like fancy beef burgers, like facial hair. No, I think there's a lot of different people that have beards, and for all different reasons. You know, you get hipsters, you get bikers, you get old men, you get guys in the Navy. You get people like me that just kind of have looked at the bottom of their face and thought, I need to hide that away forevermore, and have just decided to grow a beard. But no, I think it probably will slow down, and I think there's an awful lot of people out there. Everybody probably knows somebody on Facebook currently posting all of these memes about how they will never shave and how bearded men are much more manly, and if you shave, you're a woman, and I guarantee
not there's anything wrong with being a woman.
No. That's what I mean. It just makes me smile because I guarantee you look back through their Facebook history, 50%, if not more, 3 years ago were babyface and clean shaven. 3 years' time, when having a beard is no longer fashionable, it will go.
Good thing about Lucky 13 is that it's got a tattoo shop at the back. That is the ultimate end to that shop, isn't it? It's finished that shop off. You know, you've got a shop that specialises in men's hair and beard trimming, and he's got a big tattoo shop at the back of it.
Yeah, I mean,
do you fancy any tattoos?
Yeah, I do want to finally get some ink this year. As you know, my wife's quite
Claire's
heavily
got
tattooed.
Loads. Yeah, she looks cool.
So yeah, and I've kind of thought about it for forever and ever and ever, and I just thought, oh, do you know what? You need to stop just buggering about and get it done. So yeah, there's a piece of I've got a birthmark on my arm that I've never really liked. I'm not like particularly precious about it, but I just kind of thought if I could work that into a tattoo and make it look a bit more interesting, and that would be cool.
Tattoos get a lot of bad press, but over in the UK and I think around the world at the moment, tattoos are massive. And I think it's cool because people, like you say, are using tattoos to cover up scars that's haunted them all their lives. People, I mean, I've seen on Facebook ladies that have had breast cancer and covered it up with tattoos and stuff like that. It's really pretty cool, I think, don't you?
Yeah, I mean, but the culture as a whole is kind of it ranges massively, doesn't it? From stuff that's got stuff like that's used to cover up scars, stuff that has very deep meanings to people, stuff that's sort of in memoriam of people that have passed away, right through to, as you know, one of Claire's tattoos. She literally was getting a bus home from work, reading through Kerrang, saw the album art for a Deftones album, said, "I'm having that." Got off the bus a stop early, and just went and got it tattooed.
Did she still like it?
She loves it, yeah.
Brilliant, because there's a lot of people that don't. Well, you see them on tattoo fixes that go to Magaluf on holiday and get cock wrote across their back or something.
Tattoos are just never a good idea, are they?
So going back to beards, I've read quite a few times about, you know, maintaining beards. Apparently beards have huge amounts of bacteria in them. It's like you've got to maintain them. How do you maintain a beard?
Well, you just wash it, you know. I use a special beard soap because most shampoos are a bit harsh, and if you keep washing with them, eventually it will strip all the natural oil out of your beard and it will become dry and itchy. I think that's why a lot of people give up, is that they grow the beard and it starts getting dry and itchy, but that's because they haven't they've just used the products that were in their bathroom, and it eventually ends up drying your beard out and it becomes annoying. But with a little, just, you know, buying one or two specialist beard products, your beard will stay nice and soft, and it keeps you warm in the winter and too hot in the summer.
Anything you can recommend?
Oh God, I mean, yeah, there's lots. In terms of local brands, I mean, there's three brands that I really love, but I might as well, because as you're a Cornish-based show, I'll give a shout out to my mate Dave at Mariner Jack, who makes his stuff all handmade down in Truro, all natural products, and also to Stuart Morse that does Fine Fettle in Newquay. They're two really, really great Cornish brands that make proper world-class men's grooming materials. They're really, really good guys, and lovely people as well, which is nice.
Now, one of the reasons why I come on the show, the first reason was because you're a genuinely nice chap, and I wanted you to come in and have a chat because you've got a huge variety of knowledge. That's the main reason why I brought you in. But the second reason was to promote what you're all about, really. You've taken things to the next level, really. You know, you growing a beard, you love that. And now you've decided to set up an event, a charity event. Is it once or twice a year? Once a year you do it?
Once a year. We do once a year we do a charity beard and moustache competition in aid of all the proceeds are split between the Devon and the Cornwall Air Ambulance Trusts.
Fantastic. So, you do it with Claire, your wife. How did it start? You know, was you sat watching EastEnders one night and you said to Claire, "Do you know what, Claire? I think I'll set up a beard charity event."
No, basically how it started was we went to the World Championships on my 30th birthday, and then we kind of forgot about it for years and years and years. And then randomly Claire said, "Oh, the British Championships are in Bath." So we thought, well, we'll go up and that'll be a fun day out. And it was. And my barber, who I became very good friends with, was supposed to come with us, him and his wife, but they were let down by their babysitter at the last minute. And I came back and I bought him some souvenirs, and he looked at all the photos on Facebook and he was gutted that he couldn't come. So I was sat in the chair and he said, "Oh, we need to have one in Plymouth. We need to have one somewhere in the southwest. Someone needs to set one up." And I agreed. I said, no. So that's definitely, I thought, that sounds like a lot of work, but yeah, no. And what happened was Claire was stood next to me waiting because she just finished her appointment with my barber's wife who cuts her hair, and she kind of thought, right, well, these two idiots are never actually going to get it done. So she dived in and started looking for venues, and yeah, she just started getting things done. Claire's the doer in our house, definitely. I do help out with the event, and I probably do as much as her, but I do the things that I'm told to do. She's the one that comes up with the big list of everything that needs to get done.
So how many years have you been going for now? Is this the third year or the fourth year?
This is the third year. This will be the third event. We've had to move up to Exeter because we couldn't get the venue in Plymouth. Yeah. We're at the Corn Enchange in Exeter, though. It's a lovely venue. We'll be back to Plymouth because the guys there looked after us, but they had weddings booked in, and basically they were giving us the room for half price. So, if they had a wedding book, they would have made an awful lot more money off the wedding than they did off of us. So, it was lovely that they had us for 2 years. But
so you're in your third year now. Is it growing big style? I mean, how many people roughly was there on your first, and what sort of are you up to now?
First year was 140. Second year was 160. We're hoping for about 200 this year. So it is growing. Not, it's not like massively, but it's growing year on year. This year, I think will definitely be the best attended, just because we're also very close to the guys at Southwest Beard Club, and the club itself has grown a lot. So there's an awful lot more people now that are members of the club that come along to like meets and stuff like that chat on Facebook, and an awful lot of them are going, yeah, I'm definitely coming.
And you've got your own Facebook page. How do we find you on Facebook?
Just search for the Devon and Cornwall Beard and Moustache Championships. We're on Facebook, Twitter. We've got our own website as well.
How long does it take to set up an event? Because I'm one of these people myself where when I was into ham radio, I used to set up my own stuff like yourself, because nobody ever does anything.
Yeah.
So it's always me that has to do it. Now I've sort of like made myself, I've retired from that now. I stay away from organising stuff. It takes so long to arrange these things. How long does it take you? So you'll have your event in July.
Yep.
The day finishes. How long before you're talking about next year?
We will be probably talking about stuff in sort of October, November, and we will be starting to get stuff done about the turn of the year.
A long old process, isn't it?
Yeah. If you added up all of the hours, it might not come to, months and months and months, but you certainly, you chip away at it. And obviously we've all got sort of full-time jobs as well. It's not like there's no money to be made in organising beard competitions. It's totally a labour of love. So
when you come to your event, then what sort of stuff do you expect to see? I mean, I know there's going to be lots of people there with beards, but what I mean is it's obviously in different categories for beard competitions and that. Do you do anything else at your events other than beards? We
try and do other stuff to make things interesting. Last year we had bands. That was just too much work. I mean, anybody out there that is that promotes gigs for a living, then you have my respect, because that was just hard work. Dealing with musicians is like herding cats. The people in the sort of beardy community are reasonably disorganized, but compared to the bands, they were pretty, the lovely guys. But yeah, I just thought, wow, that was great fun, and I'm glad I organised a concert, and I'm not doing that again.
So what categories are there in your beard event then?
Okay, so there's everything from mustaches, partial beards, so any beard that doesn't join up all the way around, whether that's a goatee or
like Hulk
sideburns Hogan. or like Hulk Hogan. Yep. And then there's 4 different categories of full beard, depending on how big your beard is and whether you style your beard or leave it natural. And then there's a category for handmade beards for children, and there's an adult category as well for people that want to make their own beard. And then there's my particular favourite, which is the freestyle category, which is the one where we just say there's no rules, do what you want. And that's when you get, last year that was won by a wizard with beard lasers.
I'll tell you, you got to be off your head, really, isn't it? I love it. And I'm a bit gutted, really, because like you say, quite often I've wanted to come and be part of your event and come and have a look at it all. But it's exactly the same weekend as that I go to Kendall Calling, my favourite festival up in Penrith. And I miss it every year, and I'm absolutely gutted because I see the pictures and I just laugh my head off. What's the longest beard that you've seen at your event?
Oh, the longest beard turned up last year. I I can't remember exactly how long he was, but he literally turned up and he paid on the day. He hadn't bought a ticket in advance. So he turned up and he said, yeah, I'm going to enter full beard over 8 inches. And Claire kind of looked up at him and said, no, I think you'll be under 8 inches. And he reached into his T-shirt and pulled out another 2.5 feet of beard. It was like down to his knees nearly.
You're joking.
Yeah, it was crazy.
And how old was this guy then?
I would say sort of early 40s maybe. Not old.
Have you thought about, for next year perhaps, doing a ladies' beard competition?
Well, we do the handmade, and the handmade is always great fun. I mean, last year it was won by a lady that made a beard out of tribbles. If you're into your Star Trek, if you can remember the episode where the tribbles take over the Enterprise, where she's a big Star Trek fan. She made a beard entirely out of these tribbles. The year before that was won by our friend that made a Viking walking beard, this massive purple woolen beard that was connected to a Viking helmet and had a compass and a whistle and a torch and a bottle opener woven into it. So yeah, the handmade categories are really good fun. And then the kids sort of join in with that as well. So
because what I'm getting at is on my post round when I'm out, I do come across a lot of ladies with proper like real beards.
Well, it does happen, and I think again, I think ladies have the same problems as us. After a certain age, hair starts sprouting a bit more, doesn't it? And there's obviously sort of medical conditions. There is a lady that has entered a couple of beard competitions because she just kind of took the decision, I'm not going to go through all the hassle of getting rid of it all every single day. I'm just going to wear it and deal with it. A Sikh lady. She's been in a few competitions and a lovely lady. But yeah, theoretically, the natural beard categories are open to men or women. So
if you're a woman and you want to turn up to Beards event, when is it and where is it again?
It's July 29th and it's at Exeter Corn Enchange in Exeter.
Fantastic. It's been an absolute honour to have you on this week's podcast.
It's been a pleasure.
It's just great. I'm going to have to make sure one year that I come to your beard event. Either that or change it a different date so that I can, just for me.
It might do. Yeah, we might do. This kind of fits in. There's a whole beardy calendar. There's competitions all over the country.
Like festivals.
Yeah, events, exactly. Yeah. And this fits into a nice little gap where there's nothing else on. But a couple of other ones have started up sort of in the Midlands that look like they're going to be quite close to ours. So maybe we'll move ours. We've been talking about, there's no real big event in the winter. So we've been talking about maybe moving it to the winter.
You do realise that there is actually a beard podcast?
Yeah, no, undoubtedly. I mean, people take their bearding very, very seriously.
Yeah. Anyway, mate, like I say, I'm going to let you get on with this podcast. It's crazy because this podcast, when I first started it was supposed to be a half an hour podcast. And
we've been talking for 3/4 of an hour.
43 minutes and 2 seconds we've been talking for. And it's just like everybody that I get coming in, I'm having more and more interviews every week. I could talk for hours, but you've got to limit it at some time.
Yeah, you can just edit this down. Just get this down to the 10-minute interesting minutes.
No, I don't do editing because I've come from a radio broadcasting world and it's live. I don't do editing. I get rid of the ums and the ahs and the big gaps and stuff like that. So I edit it a little bit. But you got some people that do podcasts that edit like for 2 hours. They, the podcast is for an hour, and then they're for 2 hours taking out the ums and the ahs, and it just starts in the coughs and it just starts getting stupid. Then,
yeah, I mean, I guess it just depends how much time you've got on your hands.
I haven't got that time,
exactly.
Mate. Yeah. Mike, thank you very much for coming in again, mate.
Thanks for having me.
When I do this adult podcast, we're going to be setting up an adult podcast soon where we're setting up a table behind me, putting loads of free drink in the middle of it, and people are just going to talk randomness. Were you up for coming in and having a go on one of them?
Yeah, it depends what the drink is because I'm a fussy bugger.
Well, what are you into?
Any kind of craft beer or real ale. I mean, I've been in the real ale for years and years and years, but with the craft beer coming through, there's a lot of that stuff that I've actually really, really enjoyed. I didn't think I was going to like it because it was all fizzy and in cans, but there's a lot of good stuff being made.
It's massive at the moment. And I've done a podcast. I'm not sure what it is off the top of my head. I think it's about episode 4, something like that. Or just check all through all my episodes and you'll find it, about when I went up to Warwick and they had a shop up there, an ale shop. Loved it. Went in there to pick up a few cans of beer. Come out about 4 hours later, rat-assed.
Yeah, there's if you wanna check out a good local beer shop, there's a shop on Exeter Street in Plymouth. Yeah.
Any good?
Very good, very good. And Sam and Katie, who run it, are lovely people.
Can you go in there and actually drink?
Yeah. It used to be that there was only the odd evening where they had on sales, but they've now got a license and they've got planning permission come through, so it can open as a bar. And I'm having a senior moment and can't remember the name of the place, but I'll tell you about it in a minute once I check my Facebook. I'm having a Jeremy Corbyn moment there. I know.
Ending on politics. Thank you very much for coming in, mate. Don't forget, when you leave here, check out War Porn. Tell me what you think. Get back to me.
Yeah.
Honour. Cheers later, mate. Go
Cheers.
On.
Marc Jeffrey Podcast Show.
They were The Roof, and that song was called Home, Part 1. And you can check out Home, Part 2 by going to www.facebook.com/The Roof 2017 band. They're also on twitter.com/The Roof 2017 band. Instagram, they are The Roof 2017 band, and you can also check them out on reverbnation.com/The Roof 6. I think that's about right. Anyway, guys, thank you very much for tuning in to this podcast. Me personally, I think this has been the best one so far. You can give me your feedback at jaff10@hotmail.com. I love to hear from you. You can also check me out by going to my website, which is www.jaff10.simplesite.com. And you can go on iTunes. For all you iTunes listeners, I want you to get on there now with your chubby little fingers, and I want you to write me a cracking review and leave me 5 stars so people can notice that I'm out there. If you would, please. Thank you. Wasn't it? Anyway, guys, thank you very much for listening. I've got a show lined up for you next week. I don't know what it's going to be about yet. I've got loads and loads of music all of a sudden coming into me. I've got loads and loads of people that want to be interviewed. So at this present moment in time, I don't know who to pick next. So it's going to be a surprise. So I look forward to seeing you same time, same place next week. And I've got one last final thing to say to you. Look after yourself and others. And remember, your life may not be as crazy as you once thought it was.